The NBA has seen tall players before. It has seen skilled players too. But it has never seen this. Because Victor Wembanyama isn't just breaking expectations, he's forcing teams to rethink what a basketball player is supposed to look like. Some scouts privately asked a question that sounds almost unreal. What if this works so well, it changes the league itself? But hidden inside the excitement is a quieter concern executives rarely say out loud. When a body this unique enters a sport this physical, are we witnessing the future of basketball or the biggest physical gamble the league has ever taken? Every generation believes it understands the limits of the human body until someone arrives who redraws them completely. For basketball, that arrival may already be here. Standing well over 7 feet tall, Victor moves with the fluidity of a guard, shoots comfortably from the perimeter, and defends space that most players can't even reach. And the most unsettling part? He was being discussed as the future of the sport before he was old enough to fully experience adulthood. But what makes Victor truly fascinating isn't just what you see on the court, it's what was happening long before the cameras arrived. Victor was not accidentally discovered. He was quietly prepared. Born near Versailles, France, a place known more for history than basketball, he grew up inside an environment that treated athletic development almost like engineering. His mother, a former professional basketball player and coach, understood something many overlook. Raw talent is fragile. Handled poorly, it breaks. So while other young prospects chased exposure, Victor's path was structured with unusual discipline. Minutes were monitored. Training was deliberate. His physical growth required patience, because bodies built this differently always carry a hidden question. Not, can they dominate? But, can they survive it? By his mid-teens, scouts weren't just intrigued, they were confused. Basketball has always had tall players, and it has always had skilled players, but rarely both in the same body. Some evaluators described watching him as visually uncomfortable, not because it looked wrong, but because it looked unnatural. Like the proportions didn't belong to the movements. And when something appears unnatural in sports, people start using a dangerous word: unicorn. A compliment, but also a burden. Because once the world labels you unique, normal expectations disappear. But here is where Victor separated himself early. He didn't behave like a prodigy intoxicated by hype. He behaved like someone already thinking 10 years ahead. He learned English early, understanding the global nature of the sport. Protected his body instead of chasing viral moments. Studied spacing, timing, and defensive angles, details most teenagers never consider. This is not the psychology of someone hoping to arrive. This is the psychology of someone preparing to last. But preparation cannot fully shield anyone from what happens next, because eventually, potential becomes spectacle. And spectacle changes everything. When Victor declared for the NBA draft, the tone around him shifted overnight. He was no longer just promising. He became inevitable. Teams weren't simply scouting him. Some were quietly imagining their future around the possibility of landing him. And with that came whispers. Not scandal, not controversy, but concern. Because here is where Victor's story becomes less about talent and more about risk. Behind the highlights and global hype, there has always been a question basketball insiders discuss carefully. History has not always been kind to bodies built like this. So while the world celebrates what Victor might become, teams are obsessing over a different question entirely. Not how great can he be, but how long can a player like this actually last? When the San Antonio Spurs secured the #1 pick, the reaction felt less like a routine draft result and more like the beginning of a new era. Victor is viewed internally as an anomaly to be protected. Not rushed, not overexposed, not burned out chasing early dominance. The Spurs appear to be managing him like a long-term investment, not a short-term headline. Yet when he stepped onto an NBA court, something unexpected happened. Veteran players began altering decisions. Shots released faster, driving lanes abandoned, passes reconsidered mid-motion. Not because Victor had touched the ball, but because he was nearby. That is the earliest signal of transformational presence. When opponents change behavior before you even act, it is not intimidation, it is geometry. He changes the shape of the floor, and yet, despite all the caution surrounding him, players across the league have already admitted something unusual. Victor doesn't just block shots, he changes decisions before they happen. Guards hesitate, centers rethink positioning, which raises a possibility that once sounded exaggerated, but no longer does. But perhaps the most surprising part of Victor's transition is psychological. Fame usually speeds athletes up. More visibility, more noise, more reaction. Victor appears to be doing the opposite, slowing the moment down, speaking with unusual calm, almost as if he understands something many stars learn too late. A career is not defined by how loudly it begins, but by how long it sustains. Victor is not just entering the NBA, he is representing a shift the league can already feel. So now the question surrounding Victor Wembanyama is evolving. It is no longer, can he become great? The real question is quieter, and far more important. What does the league look like if he stays healthy? Because if he does, we may not simply be watching the emergence of a star. We may be watching the early outline of the next structural era of basketball. Maybe years from now, we'll look back at this moment and realize something incredible. The future of basketball didn't slowly evolve. It arrived all at once, in the form of a player many still struggle to fully comprehend. Victor Wembanyama was never supposed to be normal, and perhaps that's exactly why the entire sports world is watching so closely. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy deep sports documentaries like this, subscribe to the channel, because the next generational story might already be unfolding.